Russian forces are making a push to capture key Ukrainian towns in Donbas ahead of Donald Trump's return to the White House. Fierce fighting has been taking place on the battlefield, with both sides stepping up the offensive. Russian forces have reportedly taken control of 2 settlements in the past day. It also claims to have carried out strikes on Ukrainian ammunition depots, electronic warfare base stations, artillery and other targets. Russian air defense forces claiming to have intercepted American-made ATACMS, British-made Storm Shadow missiles, HIMARS rockets, hundreds of drones. On the same day, in fact, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported that as of Tuesday, its forces had engaged in dozens of fights with Russians in the frontline areas. The most intense fighting is said to be taking place in Pokrovsk, a key Ukrainian stronghold. Pokrovsk is located in Donetsk, and the Russians have their eyes on it. For months, Russian troops have tried to encircle Pokrovsk. It's also the latest Ukrainian city caught in the death grip of Russian forces. Now, according to war monitors, the Russians are planning to cut off land supply routes to Pokrovsk to force Ukrainian troops to retreat. You see, Russian advances in Pokrovsk will significantly worsen the situation for Ukrainian forces. It will complicate logistics and hinder the ability of Ukrainian forces to resupply and redeploy troops. The capture of Pokrovsk would enable Russian forces to advance towards the administrative border between Donetsk and Dnipropetrovsk. More importantly, the loss of Pokrovsk would open the doors to one of Russia's main war goals, that is the capture of the Donbas region, and the rate at which Russia has made territorial gains in Donetsk, despite a surge in Western military aid for Ukraine, raises concerns about a potential Russian breakthrough. As far as Ukraine is concerned, they are putting up a strong fight. On Tuesday, Ukraine's military has claimed its largest air attacks yet on Russian territory since the start of the war nearly 3 years ago. It launched a large-scale missile and drone attack overnight. While the Russian military said most of Ukraine's projectiles were shot down, the Russian cities of Saratov and Engels were reportedly hit with some damage caused to factories in the area. Ukraine attacked the same region last week as well. They struck an oil depot which served as an airbase for Russian bomber planes. Outgunned and outnumbered despite Western help, Ukraine is trying to disrupt Russian command and control in order to slow down Russian assaults. However, without more troops and military aid, the Ukrainian military will not be able to hold on for too long. Next week, the US will have a new administration, which means that there will be a reinvigorated push for peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. Remember, Trump has vowed to end the Ukraine war, and with that in mind, it appears that the Russians are trying to capture as much territory as possible, especially in the Donbas region. Control over the territory, after all, will be a great leverage for Russia in potential negotiations.